We've all made mistakes with money, and we've all done some really dumb things that in hindsight, we wish we had done the opposite. It's hard to know when you're doing certain things if they're the right choice or not until later when everything plays out. And sometimes we just do things that are so dumb, we look back and wonder, why did I do that? At least I do. Today, I'm going to be sharing some of my most embarrassing and stupid financial mistakes that I have made in the past. Today's video is a collab with Wendy Valencia. She is another personal finance YouTuber who is all about paying off debt and getting your life organized so that you're doing better with money, which is something that we are really focused on here. Getting organized and paying attention to your money helps you prevent a lot of mistakes. And when you're paying attention and being consistent, you end up winning with your money, even if you make mistakes along the way. Believe me, I've made plenty of mistakes financially, and we are still on a really good path to being really financially sound, and I am happy with where we are, even though we make tons of mistakes and still make mistakes. So today I'm going to be going over some of the biggest mistakes I've made on my financial life, and I'm going to share a couple that are super embarrassing that I've literally never told anyone before and I really don't want to admit them. But let's get started. All right, mistake number one that I made. I lost a $100 bill that I got for Christmas before. I don't know what happened. I put it somewhere or someone took it. I'm really not sure, but all I know is that I didn't have it the day after Christmas. That afternoon, at some point, the $100 bill was no longer in my possession, and it really ruined my Christmas because I lost $100. That was a lot of money to me at the time, and it was really upsetting that I lost that $100 bill. I still think about it sometimes and cringe, but lesson learned, always pay attention to where your money is and be careful with it. Be aware of your surroundings, be aware of where your money is, and be cautious with it. So that's something I have learned from especially carrying cash. If you have cash on you, that is not easily replaced. If you have your credit card stolen or something, you can block it or get the company to refund those fraudulent charges, but once cash is gone, cash is gone. So that is one lesson I learned, and actually it's one of the reasons I don't really like using cash. And when we use cash, we use debit cards instead. Next mistake is that I pulled money out of a retirement account early on in my 20s. I was trying to buy my first house, and I was pulling money out of my Roth IRA because I had already contributed a lot. So I ended up pulling out money that I ended up not using for the house. But instead of being smart and putting it back, I used it on living expenses and who knows what else. Looking back on that situation, I wish I had put the money back in, and I wish that I had never taken it out because that money from a decade ago would be worth so much more right now. So the lesson I learned from that is never touch your retirement accounts until you are ready for retirement, unless you are trying to avoid going completely bankrupt. I did not need to take that money out. I should have just waited and saved up a better down payment. And I wasn't really secure in my job, so I should have waited until I was set and I knew that I would have a secure job and was going to be ready to buy my first house. My next big financial mistake that I've made is that I did not focus enough on my career early on or believe in my ability to earn a lot of money. I really focused too much on the fact that I didn't want to earn a lot of money, that I didn't want to go to law school, I wanted to be a journalist, I wanted to do all these things that didn't pay well. So I really told myself that I couldn't earn a lot of money. And looking back, I wish I had not gone that route and that I had believed in myself and believed in my ability to not only earn more money, but to be in a career that could earn more money. I really wrote myself off for a lot of different options that I probably could have pursued, but didn't because for some reason when I was in my early 20s, I just wasn't very money focused and I wasn't very career focused. So I never found what I wanted to do, so I never pursued that or encouraged myself to earn more money. Now in my 30s, I'm like, let's do this, let's earn money, let's build something. And I wish that I had done that sooner and just built up the confidence and believed in myself that I could do it. The next mistakes are ones that I made in college related to the student loans that I am still still paying off way down the road. Mistake number 1 that I made is I chose the wrong college. I did not go to one of the state schools that gave me a full ride. That's right, I should not have any student loans. I should have went to a state school in-state. I had a full ride scholarship, I had great grades and ACT scores, and like an idiot, I decided I wanted to go to private school. Was that a good choice? No, it wasn't. But at the time, I thought it was, all about my education and the small class sizes. And to be frank, I was a little bit scared of going to a huge school. So I got a little scared of the concept and I didn't take a full ride scholarship. And I also thought that a private school was better and I would get a better education, but it probably wasn't. And it definitely was not worth the tens of thousands of dollars that I'm paying for it versus the free ride that I turned down. So that was a huge financial mistake that I am still paying for, and I highly regret it. So if you are smart enough to get a scholarship at any school, take it, go to that school, enjoy that school, figure out ways to enjoy it, because it is not worth the student loans that you have to take out to go to a private school. I promise. That was dumb. So the lesson there is really for other people to avoid my mistakes and also for me to guide my daughter and let her avoid my mistakes. So she will not be going to take out any student loans. She will not be going to a private school. She will be going to an in-state school or wherever she can afford to go and have it paid for. So that lesson is something that I can pay it forward because I can't go back and I can't change what I did. And side note, this is just related to the college and student loan thing. When I was in school, I did work, but I also took more classes than I needed. I studied abroad when I didn't need to, and I did a lot of things that weren't necessary. I was not super focused on getting a degree that got me a job. I was not very career focused, as I mentioned before. So I kind of just piddled around without really thinking about the fact that all of that piddling and learning and educating myself and learning languages and learning all sorts of great things was costing me money that was going to be paid off forever in the future. Even if you don't know what you want to do in college, get in there, get the classes you need and get out. Do not keep changing your majors 8 million times, and do not spend time paying for classes that you don't need, because you can take those at a community college or honestly now on like online free learning classes. You can take a course. It's so much cheaper. It's amazing. You can learn anything you want to in the world on the internet. Do not make those mistakes. If you are a college student or high school student watching this, just don't do it. It was a mistake. I regret it. The last mistake that I am going to share with you on my list of mistakes for now is that I ignored money for way too long. I just buried my head in the sand and ignored the fact that there were these loans that were for my education, but I ignored those for far too long and let them get way out of control. And I did that with a lot of other things in my life, like my spending habits, like not saving enough for retirement, all of the things that I kind of wish-washy my way through and I've learned very slowly. I just ignored them for far too long. That was a mistake because the earlier you get started with building good financial habits and adding money to your savings and saving for retirement and doing all of those financial things early in life, build this amazing foundation that just builds on itself and you just keep going and going. So if you have the option to start early or to start family members early or to encourage your children to start early with good financial habits, I highly recommend it. Learn from my mistake. Don't wait too long. Don't put your head in the sand and ignore problems that you know are there. Face it head on and take responsibility. It sucks, but it is a mistake to ignore it. So take responsibility and move on. Find a way to get around it, but don't ignore anything financial. It is also really empowering to educate yourself on finances. So some financial stuff can seem overwhelming or confusing, but if you just take the time to read and learn and watch sources that you trust and educate yourself about finances, you'll do a much better job. And it's so much better than ignoring money and ignoring your budget and ignoring your bank account, ignoring your debt. Ignoring any of that stuff is just prolonging and making the problem worse, which never pays off. So just face it head on and tackle the problem. Those are some of the financial mistakes that I made. And honestly, it's really embarrassing to admit some of this stuff to you guys. But that is the great thing about my channel and the fact that you can make money mistakes and still win with money. I promise you can mess up, but if you just keep going, you keep learning and you keep working on it, you keep learning more and being consistent and putting your money in good places, you will win in the long run. This is not a one shot or lose. You get a lot of different chances, so you can mess up a lot of times and still do well and still have a good financial foundation that allows you to live the life that you want and to find financial freedom and stability and all of these good things that money can help us have in life. So those are the financial mistakes I wanted to share with you today. I would love for you to write one of your financial mistakes in the comments below so I don't feel so alone. And if you have not visited Wendy's channel, go over there for her mistake that she made. And her mistake is one thing that I have not done, but I really hate to see people make this mistake. And I have talked about it on the channel before, so go check out her channel and see what that mistake is, because it is the one thing that I really dislike about a certain personal finance expert's advice. So leave me a comment telling me your financial mistake that you want to share, and then go ahead over and check out the mistake that Wendy made with her money.